Tacoma Police Department recruits practice slow speed driving. Home in Tacoma is now in phase 2, and the Broadway Tacoma Farmers Market is back in season. All of this just ahead on Tacoma Report. Hi, and welcome to this edition of Tacoma Report. I'm Laura Proctor. The City of Tacoma is working hard to find new ways to help with housing needs in the community. The Home in Tacoma project was created to help improve housing supply, affordability, and choices. Home in Tacoma Phase 2 is now underway, and the Planning Commission is finalizing the scope of the project. This means more opportunities for public involvement are coming soon. Stay up to date on the project and ways to be involved at the city's webpage. Meanwhile, the McKinney Hill neighborhood is one of the 2 pilot communities participating in the City of Tacoma's new neighborhood planning program. City staff have been working with the community to create a plan for enhancing the neighborhood. The program will expand in the fall to include the Proctor neighborhood. For more information about how to get involved, visit the City of Tacoma webpage. Residents may wonder why the City of Tacoma requires them to get a permit to do many things on their property. The answer is health, wellness, and safety. Permits are required to make sure that work meets community-approved, expert-designed safety codes and that the project doesn't impact the environment or infringe on neighbors. The city is committed to making the permitting process as streamlined as possible. To find out if you need a permit, or to learn more about permitting, visit tacomapermits.org. The Tacoma Police Department recently held a driving course for its new police recruits in the parking lot of the Tacoma Dome. The department aims to give recruits time in police vehicles prior to heading off to the state's basic law enforcement academy. Part of an officer's training includes 3 days at the Washington State Patrol's Driving Academy in Shelton. By giving recruits time behind the wheel prior to attending the State Patrol course, the department not only saves taxpayer dollars by minimizing academy retraining, but it gives its officers more experience to be prepared to handle a vehicle in what can be high-stress situations.
We have recruits that are getting ready to go to the police academy, and we're trying to give them some extra driving time and to fine-tune some of their driving skills that they already have to make them even better drivers when they become officers after the academy. Going to and from calls can be a huge distraction with the radio and the computer, but we want to make sure that we're getting there in a safe manner, and also we're protecting the public as we're responding to the call.
The department's course is considered a slow speed course compared to what the recruits will see at the State Patrol's Academy. They learn basic maneuvers like forward serpentine, parking skills, reverse serpentine, reverse lane changes, and moderate speed lane changes. By the end of the 10-hour training, recruits are much more prepared to control a vehicle, making the job safer not only for themselves, but for the surrounding public too. Learn more about the Tacoma Police Department by visiting tacomapolice.com. Schnitzer Steel has announced it is committing to using 100% renewable energy for its operations. By partnering with Tacoma Public Utilities, Schnitzer Steel looks to power their recycling operations with clean, renewable hydroelectric energy, participate in energy-efficient projects, and TPU's Evergreen Options program. Schnitzer Steel receives recycled materials such as crushed cars and other steel-containing resources. Schnitzer Steel is one of 4 Tacoma Power customers operating their own substation, where they transform power from transmission voltage to medium and low voltage to use within their facility. The Broadway Tacoma Farmers Market has opened for the season. This downtown market, which runs from 10 to 2 each Thursday through October, is one of 4 Tacoma Farmers Markets, but the only one that has opened so far. The Point Ruston, Eastside, and Multi-Care markets will open later this summer. Farmers markets are a great way to support local farms and the perfect location to pick up nutritious produce along with fruits and vegetables. There are also hot food vendors and artisans, as well as weekly live music to listen to as you browse the many vendors. You can also grab a bite to eat. This is the 32nd year of the Broadway Farmers Market. And of course, the Proctor Farmers Market is open each Saturday in the Proctor District from 9 to 2 p.m. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the homeless situation in Tacoma and what's being done. Stay with us. Welcome back to Tacoma Report. I'm Laura Proctor. Cleanup of encampments located along South 9th and South 11th Streets between Martin Luther King Jr. Way and M Streets recently took place. The site is being cleaned due to health and safety concerns. The Homeless Engagement and Alternatives Liaison Team, also known as the HEAL Team, has been visiting this location and conducting outreach weekly since March. To give us some insight into what the City of Tacoma is doing with this situation, we're lucky to get a chance to talk with Caleb Carbone, the Homeless Services Strategy Manager. Caleb, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So Caleb, tell us a bit about yourself and what your role is.
Yeah, so I am new to this position in the last couple of months. I am a Pacific Northwest native though, so this particular area is really passionate for me and what I do here. My career has been supporting people who are experiencing homelessness or unsheltered. I've also worked and supported organizations that have been helping folks and making enhancement plans and strategies and stability goals for people who are experiencing unsheltered and homelessness. And also been a part of communities and seeing what solutions can be made. And so that's been some of the things that I've been working on. My current role is the Homeless Strategy Systems and Service Manager for the city. And what my specific actions are is to support the city and how to address homelessness that is really such a big impact for the city and community.
Absolutely, a big role to take on, I assume, you know. And how is Tacoma addressing homelessness?
Yeah, so Tacoma is addressing it in a few ways. Since the 2017 emergency declaration, the city has done a pretty good job at being very reactive on how to address this issue. Some of the bigger things that they've been able to do is diversify and expand the shelter that's within the city. So giving opportunity for folks who are unsheltered to be able to give that. Now there's more room for that to be able to do in something part of our strategy that we are considering or continuing to do, which is expand and diversify, not just the shelter type, but also the providers too as well. And that hope is that we continue to gain support and different avenues and knowledge from those providers on how to find solutions as well. We also, as you mentioned, with the HEAL team, those are the outreach efforts of helping the folks that are unsheltered so that they can be able to get on a pathway towards house. And so those are some of the initial 2017 and what we've been doing a lot of times, along with other types of efforts. But what we look to continue to do is to keep growing. And so a few things that we're considering and that part of the strategy plan is one is to increase and support the AHOS, which is the Affordable Housing Action Strategy for the city, and also to be aligned with the county's comprehensive plan too as well. So with those things that we're considering to bolster so that we are helping not only the prevention, keeping people from being homeless in the first place as best as we can, or having strong diversion programs that if they are to become homeless, they can be diverted back to housing as quick as possible. So those are other things, increasing our outreach efforts, increasing healthcare, access to the behavioral health side of folks who are experiencing homelessness and being unsheltered are also big things that the city is continuing to work on and strategizing in terms of how we're funding organizations as well. So yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you, Caleb. And can you share with us, Caleb, why it's important to be compassionate in the approach to ending homelessness?
Yeah, that's a really important question. One of the best definitions I actually have heard is that compassion is walking in someone's shoes, but reminding yourselves that they're not your shoes. And so with the way that I look at compassion, I look at it in three different phases. First, for the individual who is experiencing homelessness and who is unhoused. So with those folks, we need to be able to see what they're kind of going through on a day-to-day basis, or what they have gone through that has made it to this point where they found themselves in this situation, and really supporting that individual. But also we need to consider the organizations that do this type of work and what brings them to doing that type of work and helping and supporting people who are experiencing homelessness or unsheltered. And so those are really, really important in terms of compassion with that. But the last one is sometimes we forget to remind ourselves is that the community also needs to be supported, because in order for us to be a whole community, we need to be able to be whole, and that is helping folks who are experiencing unsheltered and homelessness, and we'll never be whole as a community until we do that.
Right, and I love that definition of compassion.
Yeah.
That is actually amazing. And so do you feel like the program is working?
Yeah, I think in terms of the reactive way that we've been able to do has been able to work in terms of trying to get people into places and be safe. And that's what we're consistently trying to do, is thinking about safety for the individuals who are experiencing homelessness and also the community as well. But we are always looking at how our outcomes are coming out from the programs that we support and that our providers run, and always constantly assessing those programs. And so it's really important that we continue to do that. We continue to get feedback from those folks and let them kind of do some of the things that they're passionate about, but also get feedback from the advocates and the community and the organizers that are also really passionate and have a vocation for this type of work as well. And so those are always things to keep in mind as we're continuing to grow, because we still have a lot of growth to do. And I think we're trying to just be a little bit more proactive moving forward instead of reactive, so that we have a better way of preparing for things that may come that we're not necessarily known about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Caleb, one final question. How does Tacoma compare with other cities in helping to curb the homeless population?
Yeah, so I've worked in a couple of other cities. I've worked in Chicago for about 3 years. And I also, of course, have worked and have been familiar with some of the work that some of our sister cities, or Seattle or Portland, are doing that are close by. I know about other programs that are outside the city, or other housing models like in Austin, or like in other places too as well. And so some of those models are very well known and that I'm very familiar with. But in terms of what this city is able to do, one of the things is that I keep mentioning, and I think even the mayor and the council members also, is when they've reached out to other cities to see what else we can do, often they find that Tacoma is usually in the forefront and usually are doing things that other cities are not quite. And a good example that actually happened this week was City of Albuquerque actually came and visited us to understand all of our shelter models and our diversification with those, and learning about how they can implement it and talk with their city council to be able to do it. I've also had folks from like Beaumont, Texas reach out to us and how to strategize around financial and helping with understanding how the city can leverage and understand feasibility of properties that they own. And I know that there's more stories like this that cities have actually reached out to us. Not to say that I think with that type of communication allows us to have a learning opportunity even from other cities to say, oh, we've tried this, and this is what we're also experiencing, and we can also connect and say, oh, that's consistent with what we're doing too as well. So there's still a lot more room to be able to grow.
Well, that's pretty awesome that other cities are using our program as a model. So that speaks volumes to what your team is obviously doing and the city is doing. And you'd previously shared that you've only been here a couple months, so welcome to the family.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We definitely appreciate you being on the show, and we hope to see you back again. And thank you for sharing all of that very important information regarding your program, your team, and the homelessness situation that we have going on. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Caleb. Now, don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to see how community residents are helping to tidy up Tacoma. Stay with us. Hi, and welcome back to Tacoma Report. Tidy Up Tacoma is back with city crews out maintaining the main arterials of neighborhood business districts. Stacey Ellifrit has more on this initiative and what the community can expect in the year to come.
Recently, city crews have been performing cleanup measures as part of the Tidy Up Tacoma initiative. This effort has returned after a successful run in 2021, but looks slightly different.
Really, the difference this year is that last year was just a one-time cleanup effort. We went into the districts, addressed the major issues that we found, in the districts, whereas this year we're bringing Tidy Up back as an ongoing maintenance program.
A dedicated ground maintenance team of 2 employees is working in these designated areas. A goal for this crew is to rotate through each district approximately every quarter.
Similar to what we did last fall, going through picking up litter, taking care of graffiti on city-owned assets, which would be things such as streetlight poles and traffic signal boxes. And crews will also be cutting back vegetation as it regrows, and we'll be applying a preventative weed control to limit the regrowth of the vegetation so we don't have to go back quite as often.
Apart from business districts that were part of this effort last year, this crew will also be out in other areas around the city.
As well as 5 welcome signs and 3 gateway entry points. We've also added a couple of extra areas, Pacific Avenue from 72nd to 76th, and South 12th Street from Anderson to Jeanette.
Litter Free 253, a volunteer group with a goal for our community to live in a healthy, sustainable environment, helped the city to identify the 2 new areas that crews will also focus on this year.
They went through and surveyed areas around town, found a list of areas that they would recommend. I believe they came up with 5 areas, and based on the resources that we have this year, we picked 2 areas to add to the program. So we'll be going into both those areas, doing an initial cleanup effort, and then be adding them to the ongoing maintenance.
With the success of last year's effort and its return this year, staff is looking at continuing Tidy Up Tacoma into 2023 and beyond.
The program has worked really well. We're definitely seeing improvements in the business districts. After the initial cleanup, when the crews have gone back in this year, we definitely have not had as much debris and vegetation to cut back. So I think we're already seeing an improvement.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Stacey Ellifrit.
For more information on Tidy Up Tacoma, including an estimated schedule of cleanup locations and a list of neighborhood cleanup resources, visit the city's website. Each May, the National Trust for Historic Preservation encourages local communities to celebrate National Historic Preservation Month. The City of Tacoma announced this year's Historic Preservation Month theme of Many Voices, Many Stories, which explores the diverse events, experiences, and people that have shaped Tacoma into the city it is today. This year's event lineup and details are available on the new Historic Preservation Month website. City-organized programs will be virtual again, yet the calendar also includes in-person events hosted by community partners. A new episode of Urban Green is now playing on TV Tacoma. This springtime edition starts off with a look at a project that allows the Central Treatment Plant to produce and capture cleaner burning biogas. The show also holds a demonstration on making surf and turf, and then it will share a quick tip on creating a natural microwave cleaner. Viewers will then learn about Litter Free 253 and how residents can work together to help keep Tacoma clean. The episode will wrap up with a guide to composting. For a listing of air dates or to watch this and other episodes, visit the Urban Green webpage on the city site. The City of Destiny Awards is back. After 2 years of being virtual due to COVID, the awards will be presented in person on Wednesday, June 15th at 5 p.m. at the Pantages Theater in downtown Tacoma. For the past 36 years, this event has recognized Tacoma's top volunteers and service providers. This year's awards range from environmental sustainability, disability advocate, equity and empowerment, and more. The awards event will also premiere on TV Tacoma and Facebook Live on Friday, June 17th at 7 p.m. For more information, including a list of this year's winners, visit the city site. And finally, are you wondering if the City of Tacoma needs the products and services you offer? Do you want to learn more about the City of Tacoma's purchasing and contracting processes? Are you knowledgeable about the City of Tacoma's requirements relating to insurance and bonding, taxes, business licenses, and efforts to achieve equity in contracting? Then join on Zoom for a comprehensive hour-long workshop on June 1st from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. There will be an optional 30-minute Q&A period afterwards with the vendors and contractors the City of Tacoma currently use. Access details will be posted soon at makeittacoma.com. That's all the time we have on this edition of Tacoma Report. A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. We leave you now at the overlook at Dune Peninsula at Point Defiance. The 11-acre park features panoramic views of water and sky, a perfect getaway on a sunny Tacoma day. Until next time, I'm Laura Proctor. Thanks for watching.